you're safe here. In this quiet moment, in this gentle space, you're completely safe. The day is behind you now, with all its weight and worry, all its rushing and striving. You've made it through another day, and that's enough. More than enough. You're here now, and you're safe. Maybe you've been carrying too much. Maybe your heart feels heavy tonight, like a stone in your chest that won't let you breathe deeply. Maybe your mind is spinning with tomorrow's fears or today's regrets. Maybe you feel alone, even surrounded by people. Maybe you feel forgotten, even by God Himself. But you're not forgotten. You're not alone. And right here, right now, in this sacred space between day and night, Jesus is already with you. He's been waiting for you to stop, to be still, to let Him come close. He's been watching you all day, watching you try so hard, watching you carry burdens that were never meant for you alone. The room around you is quiet now. The world has settled into evening's embrace. You can hear your own breathing, slow and steady. You can feel your heartbeat, faithful as always. These are the sounds of life, of presence, of being held in existence by a love that never sleeps. Even when you cannot feel Him, He is there. Even when you cannot see Him, He sees you. Tonight is different from all the nights that came before. Tonight, you don't have to be strong. Tonight, you don't have to have all the answers. Tonight, you don't have to be anyone except exactly who you are in this moment. Tired, perhaps broken, certainly human, and deeply, deeply loved. Jesus knows why you're here. He knows about the tears you've cried in secret. He knows about the prayers you've whispered when no one else was listening. He knows about the dreams that feel too distant and the hopes that feel too fragile. He knows about the places in your heart that ache for healing, for peace, for home, and He's here for all of it. Not to fix everything at once, not to give you a list of things to do differently tomorrow, but simply to be with you, to sit beside you in the quiet, to let you rest against His presence, like a child finally safe in loving arms. You can let your shoulders drop now. You can unclench your jaw. You can let your hands fall open, releasing whatever you've been gripping too tightly. There's nothing you need to hold on to here, except this moment, this breath, this gentle awareness that you are not walking through life alone. The night outside your window is vast and deep, full of stars that have been shining since before you were born, that will shine long after you've gone home to glory. But right now, in this small space, in this tender now, the God who set those stars in place is turning His full attention to you. The Creator of galaxies is whispering your name. You matter. Your struggles matter. Your fears matter. Your dreams matter. You matter not because of what you've accomplished or failed to accomplish, not because of how well you've loved or how often you've fallen short, but because you are His. You have always been His. You will always be His. So breathe with me now. Let the air fill your lungs slowly, deeply. Let it out gently, releasing the tension of the day. Again, slow and deep. Let each breath be a prayer, a surrender, a coming home to the one who knows you completely and loves you still. The night is quiet now, and you are safe. Jesus is here, and He's not going anywhere. He has all the time in the world for you. He has all the patience you need. He has all the love your heart has ever longed for. And He's prepared a place for you to rest, right here in His presence, right here in this holy moment where time seems to slow and peace begins to bloom like flowers in your chest. You're safe here. You're loved here. You're home. The day is over now, and you can finally let it go. All the rushing from one thing to the next, all the emails and phone calls and conversations that left you feeling drained, all the small disappointments and unexpected challenges, all the moments when you felt like you weren't enough, weren't doing enough, weren't keeping up with some invisible standard that seemed to hover just out of reach. It's over now. The sun has set on today's struggles, and mercy comes with the darkness. Night is God's gift to the weary, his gentle way of saying, enough. Rest now. Let me carry what you cannot. You've been so tired, haven't you? Not just tired in your body, though your body is tired too. Tired in your soul. Tired of trying to be everything to everyone. Tired of carrying weights that seem to get heavier each day. Tired of pretending you have it all together, when inside you feel scattered like leaves in autumn wind. Jesus sees your tiredness. He doesn't see it as weakness or failure. He sees it as humanness, as the natural response of a heart that has been loving and trying and giving all day long. He's not disappointed in your exhaustion. He's moved by it. It stirs his compassion like nothing else can. Come to me, he whispered to others long ago. All you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. The same voice that spoke those words into dusty Palestinian afternoons speaks them into your evening now. Come to me. Not when you've figured everything out, not when you've made yourself worthy, but exactly as you are right now. Weary, burdened, human. Maybe today felt like you were walking through water, every step requiring more effort than it should. Maybe the things that usually come easily felt overwhelming. Maybe you found yourself snapping at people you love, or spacing out in conversations, or feeling like you were watching your life from outside yourself, wondering who this tired person was and what had happened to the energy you used to have. It's okay. It's all okay. There are seasons in life when everything feels harder, when the simplest tasks feel like mountains to climb. These are the seasons when your soul is working something out, when God is doing something deep beneath the surface that you can't see yet. But you can feel in the way everything requires more from you than you thought you had to give. You've been brave today, even if it didn't feel like bravery, even if it felt like barely hanging on. You got up when your body wanted to stay in bed. You faced the day when your heart wanted to hide. You answered the questions and met the demands, and showed up for the people who needed you, even when your own needs felt like silent screams inside your chest. That's courage. That's faithfulness. That's love in action, even when love feels like going through the motions because you know the motions matter to someone else. Jesus sees every moment when you chose to keep going. He counts every breath you took when breathing felt like work. He treasures every small act of kindness you offered, when kindness felt like it was costing you more than you could afford. The weight you've been carrying isn't just from today. Some of it has been with you for weeks, months, maybe years. Old hurts that never quite healed properly. Fears about the future that whisper in the back of your mind during quiet moments. Regrets that surface at unexpected times, making you wince with shame or sadness. The accumulation of all the ways life has been harder than you expected it to be. You weren't meant to carry all of this alone. Your shoulders weren't designed for burdens this heavy. Your heart wasn't created to hold this much without help. God made you human, not superhuman. He made you with limits, with needs, with a built-in requirement for rest and restoration and grace. Tonight, you can set it all down. Picture yourself walking into a sacred space, maybe a quiet chapel lit by candlelight, maybe a garden where the air smells like night-blooming flowers. You're carrying a heavy backpack filled with all the weight of today, this week, this season of your life. And there, waiting for you, is Jesus. He doesn't ask you to explain what's in the backpack. He doesn't need an inventory of your burdens or a justification for why they feel so heavy. He simply holds out his hands, strong and scarred and infinitely gentle, and waits for you to trust him enough to let go. One by one, you can take things out. The conversation that went wrong today, the mistake you made at work, the friend who seems distant lately, the family member who is struggling, the health concern that keeps you awake at night, the dream that feels further away than ever, the relationship that isn't what you hoped it would be. Each burden you hand to him seems to transform in his hands, not disappearing. He doesn't pretend your struggles aren't real, but becoming somehow lighter, somehow more manageable, somehow infused with hope you couldn't see when you were carrying them alone. "I know," he says without words, his eyes holding yours with infinite understanding. "I know how hard it's been. I know how tired you are. I know how much you've been trying. And I'm so proud of you for not giving up." The relief of being seen, really seen, washes over you like warm rain. Someone knows. Someone understands. Someone cares not just about your victories and your strengths, but about your struggles and your weariness and your quiet desperation that you've been hiding from everyone else. You don't have to be strong anymore tonight. You don't have to have a plan for how you're going to handle everything tomorrow. You don't have to figure out solutions or make decisions or worry about anything except this moment, this breath, this sacred space where you're finally allowing yourself to be held. The tears come then, maybe. Not tears of sadness necessarily, though sadness might be part of it. Tears of release. Tears of relief. Tears of gratitude for this moment of grace, this pause in the endless running, this permission to just be human and tired and in need of care. Jesus sits beside you as you cry, or if you don't cry, as you simply breathe in the quiet. His presence is like warmth spreading through cold limbs, like light seeping into dark corners, like peace settling over choppy waters. He's not in a hurry. He's not checking his watch or thinking about other people who need his attention. Right now, in this moment, you are his complete focus. The day is over now, and all its demands have been met as well as you could meet them. You showed up. You tried. You loved imperfectly, but genuinely. You did your best with what you had, and your best was enough. It was always enough. You are enough. Tomorrow will come with its own challenges and its own grace. But tomorrow is not tonight. Tonight is for rest. Tonight is for allowing yourself to be human. Tonight is for remembering that you are not the one holding the world together. And what a relief that is. You can feel your body beginning to soften now, beginning to trust that it's safe to let go. Your muscles are releasing tension you didn't even know you were holding. Your breathing is becoming deeper, slower, more natural. The constant vigilance that carried you through the day is melting away, replaced by a gentle awareness of being watched over, being cared for, being loved. The day is over now, and mercy covers everything you couldn't get right. Grace fills in all the gaps where you fell short. Love holds all the broken pieces together until healing can come. You are safe now. You are held now. You can rest now. Let the day go. Let it drift away like smoke, like clouds passing overhead, like water flowing downstream. It served its purpose. It brought you here, to this moment, to this realization of how much you need grace, how grateful you are for love, how ready you are to surrender control and trust that you are being taken care of. The night is yours now. The quiet is yours now. The peace that passes understanding is yours now, settling over you like a soft blanket, like arms that will never let you go. And now you sense him there, don't you? Not just as an idea or a hope, but as a presence so real, You could almost reach out and touch his hand. Jesus is here, walking into this quiet space where you finally allowed yourself to stop, to breathe, to acknowledge how much you need someone to walk beside you. He doesn't come with judgment for how long it took you to turn to him today. He doesn't come with questions about why you tried to handle so much on your own. He simply comes the way dawn comes after night, gentle and inevitable and full of light. He's been here all along, actually, waiting for this moment when you would finally be still enough to notice him. You can almost see him settling into the chair beside your bed, or maybe sitting on the edge where you can feel the slight shift of the mattress, the warmth of his presence. His eyes are kind, kinder than any human eyes you've ever looked into. They hold no trace of impatience or disappointment, only love so deep it takes your breath away. "I've been waiting for you," he says, though the words come more as a feeling than a sound. All day, through every difficult moment, through every small victory, through every time you felt alone, I was there. I was waiting for you to remember that you don't have to walk through any of this by yourself. The loneliness you've been carrying begins to dissolve like sugar in warm water. How long has it been since you felt truly accompanied? Not just physically present with someone, but soul deep, accompanied by someone who knows you completely and chooses to stay anyway. Someone who sees all your flaws and fears and failures and doesn't flinch, doesn't pull away, doesn't start making plans to fix you or leave you. Jesus knows about the mask you wear during the day, the one that says everything is fine when everything feels chaotic inside. He knows about the conversations you have with yourself in the car, the worries you rehearse while you're trying to fall asleep, the dreams you've stopped talking about because they feel too vulnerable to share. He knows about the part of you that wonders if you're really lovable when you're not performing, not achieving, not being useful to someone else. And he loves that part especially, the part that's uncertain and scared and trying so hard to be enough. The part that wonders if anyone would choose your company if they didn't need something from you. The part that sometimes feels invisible, even in a crowded room. That's the part of you he seeks out first, the part he wraps in his gentlest care. You are seen. His presence whispers to every hidden corner of your heart. You are known. You are chosen. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Not because you've earned it, but because love doesn't work that way. Love just is, the way light just is, the way breath just is. You can picture him walking with you through today. He was there in the morning when you woke up, already worried about everything you had to accomplish. He watched you rush through your routine, trying to get ready for a day that felt too full before it even began. He felt your anxiety when you realized you were running late, your frustration when things didn't go according to plan. He was there in the difficult conversation, the one where you felt misunderstood or criticized or simply unseen. He watched you choose kindness even when you wanted to defend yourself. He saw you bite your tongue when you wanted to say something sharp, and he was proud of that moment of grace even if no one else noticed it. He walked with you through the mundane moments too, waiting in line, sitting in traffic, doing the 1,000 small tasks that make up a human day. He was there when you felt bored or restless, or like you were wasting time. He was there when you felt guilty for feeling bored, when you told yourself you should be more grateful, more present, more something than you were. I love your humanness, his presence seems to say. I love that you get tired and frustrated and bored. I love that you need rest and encouragement and small pleasures to get through the day. I didn't make you to be a machine or an angel. I made you to be beautifully, perfectly human, and that includes all the messy, ordinary, struggling parts of being human. He was there when you doubted yourself, when you wondered if you were making the right choices, saying the right things, being the right kind of person. He saw you second-guess yourself and wish you were braver, wiser, more confident. He felt your heart sink a little every time you compared yourself to someone else and found yourself lacking. You are not lacking. His love speaks into every place where you feel insufficient. You are not behind or below or less than. You are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you're meant to become. The path looks different for everyone, and yours is beautiful precisely because it's yours. Now, in this quiet moment, you can feel him settling beside you, not as a distant deity, but as the most faithful friend you've ever had. The friend who knows your worst stories and your biggest failures and somehow manages to see something in you worth loving. The friend who laughs with you, cries with you, sits in comfortable silence with you when words aren't enough. Maybe you can imagine walking with him now, not through the challenging parts of today, but through a place of perfect peace. A garden, perhaps, where the air is soft and warm, and every flower seems to bloom just for your delight. Or a quiet beach, where the waves whisper secrets of grace and the sand is cool beneath your feet. Or a mountain path, where every step brings you higher into perspective and peace. He matches your pace exactly. He doesn't rush ahead, doesn't lag behind. He walks beside you like someone who has all the time in the world and nowhere else he'd rather be. When you want to stop and look at something beautiful, he stops too. When you need to rest, he finds the perfect place to sit together. When you're ready to keep going, he's ready too. Tell me about today, he says, and you realize he's not asking for information. He already knows everything that happened. He's asking because he wants to hear your version, your feelings about it, your perspective on what it all meant. He wants to hear your voice, the way you process and understand and make sense of your life. So you tell him about the parts that were hard, and he listens without trying to fix anything, without offering advice you're not ready for. He just listens the way you've always longed to be listened to, with complete attention, complete acceptance, complete love. You tell him about the parts that were good too, the small moments of joy or connection or beauty that surprised you, and his delight in your delight is like sunshine on your face. I was so proud of you today, he says, and you can hear the smile in his voice. I was proud when you chose patience instead of anger. I was proud when you helped someone, even though you were tired. I was proud when you kept going, even when you didn't feel like it. I was proud when you tried to see the best in someone who was difficult. I was proud of so many small moments you probably don't even remember. The validation sinks into all the places where you've been unsure, all the moments when you wondered if anyone noticed your efforts, if anyone cared about the choices you made when no one was watching. He noticed. He cared. He was there for all of it, and he was proud. As you walk together in this peaceful place, you begin to understand something profound. You are never alone. Not just philosophically or theologically, but practically, experientially, moment by moment. Even when you forget, he's there. Even when you feel completely isolated, even when it seems like no one understands what you're going through, he's there, walking beside you, feeling what you feel, carrying what you cannot carry. The loneliness that has been your unwelcome companion for so long begins to lose its grip. How can you be lonely when love himself chooses your company? How can you be forgotten when you are constantly on the mind of the one who knows you better than you know yourself? How can you be abandoned when you are permanently, irrevocably, passionately held? You don't have to face tomorrow alone. You don't have to figure out your problems alone. You don't have to carry your fears alone, or celebrate your joys alone, or navigate the complexity of being human alone. He walks beside you every step, through every season, into every unknown future that awaits. The path ahead may be uncertain, but your companion is sure. The way may be difficult, but you won't walk it alone. The journey may be long, but you have someone who will never grow tired of your company, never find you boring or burdensome, never wish he was walking with someone else instead. He walks beside you now, and he always will. In this quiet night, in tomorrow's challenges, in all the days and years and moments yet to come. Step by step, breath by breath, heartbeat by heartbeat. You are accompanied by love itself, and that changes everything. Feel his presence now, real and warm and steady as your own pulse. He's here. He's walking with you all the way home. But even as you rest in his presence, even as you feel the comfort of being known and accompanied, there are storms inside you, aren't there? Storms that have been raging for so long, you've almost learned to ignore their constant noise. Almost. But in the quiet of this moment, with Jesus sitting so close you can feel his peace, those storms seem louder somehow. Not because they've grown stronger, but because peace makes you more aware of what isn't peaceful yet. The anxiety that wakes you at 3 a.m. with racing thoughts about everything that could go wrong. The guilt that whispers, you should have done more, been better, tried harder. The anger that sits like hot coals in your chest when you think about how unfairly you've been treated, how much you've given without receiving, how many promises have been broken to you. The sadness that comes in waves, sometimes triggered by memories, sometimes arriving without warning, like weather. You can't predict. Jesus sees all of it. The storms don't surprise him or frighten him or make him want to leave. He's not here only for the peaceful parts of you, only when you have it all together, only when you can present him with a tidy heart and a grateful spirit. He's here especially for the storms, the chaos, the parts of you that feel most unmanageable and unlovable. Show me, his presence seems to say. Don't hide from me. Don't pretend the storms aren't there. I want to see all of you, especially the parts you think are too dark or too messy or too broken for love to touch. So maybe you let him see the anxiety first, that constant companion that makes everything feel urgent and dangerous. The way your mind spins through worst-case scenarios like a broken record. The way your body holds tension, even when there's nothing immediate to fear. The way you check and double-check and worry about things you can't control, as if worrying could somehow protect you or the people you love from harm. I see it, Jesus says, without judgment, without impatience. I see how hard you try to think your way to safety, how much energy you spend trying to control what can't be controlled. I see how exhausting it is to live with a mind that never stops racing, a heart that never stops expecting disaster. He understands that the anxiety isn't just drama or weakness or a character flaw you should be able to overcome with enough willpower. He sees how it grew from real experiences, real hurts, real losses that taught you the world isn't always safe, and people aren't always trustworthy, and sometimes terrible things happen to people who don't deserve them. Your heart learned to be vigilant because it needed to protect you, he says with infinite tenderness. Your mind learned to scan for danger because danger was real. Your body learned to stay alert because relaxing felt risky. These responses served you once. They helped you survive. But you're safe now. You can rest now. I'm watching over everything you're worried about. And maybe you can feel something in your chest, loosening just a little, like a fist slowly unclenching. The anxiety doesn't disappear. Healing is usually gentler and slower than that, but it softens somehow in his presence. The constant vigilance your nervous system has maintained for so long recognizes something truly safe and begins, slowly, carefully, to stand down. Then there's the guilt, that heavy weight that settles on your shoulders every time you think about all the ways you've fallen short. The harsh voice in your head that keeps a running tally of your mistakes, your failures, your moments of selfishness or weakness or simple human limitation. The cruel accountant of your soul that never seems to notice what you've done right, only what you've done wrong. Jesus looks at this storm too, and his eyes fill with something that looks like grief. Not grief for your sin, but grief for how much you've been hurting yourself, how viciously you've been treating the person he loves most in your world. You, the guilt, is a liar. He says firmly, but gently. It tells you that love has to be earned, that forgiveness has conditions, that you're only as valuable as your last performance. But love doesn't work that way. My love doesn't work that way. You don't have to earn what's already yours. You don't have to pay for what's already been paid for. He shows you his hands, scarred and beautiful and strong. This is what your guilt cost. This is what your shame cost. This is what all your failures and mistakes and shortcomings cost. And I paid it gladly, completely, once and for all. The debt is gone. The penalty is finished. The guilt is lying to you when it says you still owe something. Can you feel it? The way the guilt tries to argue, tries to insist that surely you must owe something, surely there must be penance to pay, or ways to make up for what you've done wrong. But his voice is stronger, more true, more real than the voice of condemnation. His voice says, "Finished. Forgiven." And then there's the anger, perhaps the most uncomfortable storm of all, because good Christians aren't supposed to be angry, are they? But Jesus isn't disturbed by your anger. He doesn't ask you to pretend it isn't there, or to spiritualize it away, or to feel guilty for feeling it. Tell me about it, he says simply. Tell me what has hurt you so deeply that rage feels like the only response big enough to match the pain. So, maybe you tell him about the betrayal that shattered your trust in people. The friend who abandoned you when you needed them most. The family member who was supposed to protect you but hurt you instead. The opportunities that were stolen from you, the dreams that were mocked, the love that was withheld when you were reaching for it with everything you had. Maybe you tell him about the unfairness of life itself, how hard you've tried to do the right thing, only to watch people who cheat and lie seem to prosper. How exhausting it is to keep being kind when kindness feels like it's making you a target. How tired you are of turning the other cheek when your face is already bruised from all the slapping. Jesus listens to all of it without flinching, without correcting, without rushing to the "but you should forgive" part of the conversation. He lets you be angry. He lets you rage. He even seems to admire the passion in you, the fierce love that got twisted into fury when what you loved was threatened or harmed. Your anger makes sense, he says, and hearing those words feels like a balm on a wound you didn't even know was there. You're angry because you love justice. You're angry because you love deeply, and what you love has been hurt. You're angry because your heart is big and the world is small and broken, and there's not enough room for all the love you have to give. He doesn't ask you to let go of the anger before you've fully felt it, before you've honored what it's trying to tell you about your values and your heart and what matters to you. But slowly, gently, he begins to help you carry it so it doesn't have to burn so hot inside you. We can be angry together, he says. I get angry too when I see people hurting each other, when I watch my children suffer, when love is met with cruelty and kindness is met with exploitation. We can be angry together, and then we can decide what to do with that anger. How to let it fuel justice instead of bitterness. How to let it motivate protection instead of revenge. And finally, the sadness. The deep, wordless grief that lives in your bones, that surfaces at unexpected moments and makes you feel like you're drowning in sorrow you can't even name. The losses that changed you forever, the dreams that died, the innocence that was stolen, the time that was wasted, the words that were never said and now never can be said. This storm. Jesus approaches most gently of all, the way you might approach a wounded animal that could either bite or collapse. He sees how much courage it takes for you to let him near this pain, how vulnerable you feel when the sadness is exposed to light. "I know," he whispers, and somehow you know. He does know. He knows what it's like to lose someone you love. He knows what it's like to watch people make choices that break their own hearts and yours too. He knows what it's like to offer everything you have and watch it be rejected. He knows what it's like to grieve, to weep, to feel like your heart might actually break from the weight of caring so much in a world so bent on breaking beautiful things. It's okay to be sad, he says. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel the full weight of living in a world that wasn't supposed to be this broken. Your sadness is sacred because it comes from love. Only hearts that love deeply can be broken deeply. He doesn't try to cheer you up or fix the sadness or explain why it had to happen this way. He simply sits with you in it, the way the most loving friends do, adding his tears to yours when the grief is too big for one person to cry alone. Slowly, as you let him see all the storms, the anxiety, the guilt, the anger, the sadness. Not that they disappear, but that they begin to feel less overwhelming when they're not hidden anymore, when they're brought into his presence, acknowledged, witnessed, held with love instead of fought against or buried deep. You don't have to be perfect to be loved, he reminds you. You don't have to have it all figured out to belong to me. You don't have to be peaceful to deserve peace. You come as you are, storms and all, and I love all of it. I love your struggling, seeking, stormy heart, because it's yours and you are mine. The storms inside you begin to quiet, not because they've been defeated, but because they've been seen and held and loved. They're still part of your story. These struggles and pains and human responses to a difficult world, but they're not the whole story anymore. They're not the final word. They're weather patterns in a life that's ultimately held by love, and weather patterns change. Rest now in this truth. You are loved in the midst of your storms, not in spite of them. You are held when you're struggling, not only when you're strong. You belong to him completely. Chaos and peace, storms and calm, exactly as you are right now. Let the storms be there without fighting them. Let Jesus be there with you in them, and slowly, gently, feel them beginning to settle as his peace surrounds everything you are. And now, as the storms within you begin to quiet in his presence, as the anxiety loosens its grip and the guilt loses its voice, and the anger settles into something more like sadness that can be held rather than raged, you notice something profound happening. Stillness is emerging. Not the forced stillness of suppressing what you feel, but the natural stillness that comes when everything inside you has been seen and accepted and loved. This is sacred stillness, the kind that Moses encountered when he took off his shoes because the ground was holy. The kind that Mary discovered when she stopped striving and chose to sit at Jesus' feet. The kind that David wrote about when he said, "Be still and know that I am God." It's not emptiness. It's fullness so complete that nothing else needs to be added, nothing else needs to be said. You can feel your breathing naturally deepening now, each inhale drawing in not just air but peace itself, each exhale releasing not just carbon dioxide but the last remnants of the day's tension. Your heartbeat, which has been your constant companion through every moment of your life, begins to slow to a rhythm that matches the eternal pace of grace. Not rushed, not anxious, not trying to keep up with some impossible schedule, but steady and sure as the pulse of divine love itself. The room around you seems to fill with a presence that's almost tangible. The air itself feels thick with peace, heavy with the kind of silence that isn't empty, but pregnant with possibility, with comfort, with the whispered promise that everything is going to be okay. This is the stillness where miracles are born, where healing happens without fanfare, where souls are restored simply by being held in perfect love. Jesus is here in this stillness, not as a distant figure you have to reach for, but as the very atmosphere you're breathing. He's in the softness of your pillow, in the warmth of your blankets, in the gentle darkness that wraps around you like arms that will never let you go. He's in the quiet that makes it possible to hear your own heart, to remember who you are beneath all the roles you play and the expectations you carry. This is how I want you to know me. His presence seems to whisper, not just in the dramatic moments, not just in the crisis prayers, but in this ordinary, sacred stillness. In the space between your thoughts, in the pause between your breaths, in the holy now where time seems to slow and eternity feels close enough to touch. You can almost hear the scripture. He spoke so long ago to people just as weary as you are. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Rest for your souls. Not just for your body, not just for your mind, but for the deepest part of you that never stops seeking, searching, longing for home. This stillness is that home. This moment, right here, right now, with nothing to prove and nowhere to go and nothing to accomplish, except the simple, revolutionary act of receiving love, of letting yourself be held, of trusting enough to stop running, stop performing, stop trying to earn what's already yours. Maybe you can picture yourself in a place of perfect stillness now. Perhaps you're sitting by a lake so calm it looks like glass, so quiet you can hear the gentle lapping of tiny waves against the shore. The water reflects the sky so perfectly it's hard to tell where heaven ends and earth begins. Jesus sits beside you on the grass, close enough that you can feel the warmth of his presence, the gentle rhythm of his breathing that seems to set the pace for all creation. Or maybe you're in a garden where every flower blooms in perfect timing, where the air is soft and fragrant with jasmine and roses, where the only sounds are the gentle rustle of leaves in a breeze so light you can barely feel it. Jesus walks slowly among the flowers, occasionally stooping to touch one with infinite tenderness, and you understand that this is how he touches your heart, with reverence, with care, with the kind of love that makes everything it touches more beautiful. Or perhaps you're in a quiet chapel where candlelight dances on stone walls, where the air seems thick with centuries of prayers and the accumulated peace of all the souls who have found refuge here. Jesus kneels beside you in the pew, not because he needs to pray, but because he wants to be close to you as you pray, wants to add his voice to yours, wants to turn your halting words and wordless sighs into something beautiful that rises like incense to the heart of the Father. Wherever you are in this place of stillness, you can feel something profound happening in your spirit. The constant noise that usually fills your inner world, the running commentary of worry, the endless to-do lists, the rehearsal of past conversations and future anxieties, all of it begins to fade into the background like distant traffic you gradually stop noticing. In its place comes something you haven't experienced in so long, you'd almost forgotten it existed. Silence. Not empty silence, but full silence. Rich silence. Silence that's alive with possibility and pregnant with peace. Silence where you can finally hear the voice you've been longing to hear, the voice that speaks not in words, but in the language of perfect love. You are enough, the silence says. You have always been enough. You don't have to prove it or earn it or work for it. Enoughness is your birthright as my beloved child. You can stop trying so hard to become something you already are. The relief of this truth settles into your bones like medicine, like healing balm on wounds you'd carried so long you'd forgotten they were there. You are enough. Not because of what you do, but because of whose you are. Not because you've achieved some standard of perfection, but because love doesn't require perfection to be given freely, completely, eternally. You are safe, the stillness whispers. Safer than you've ever been, safer than you've ever imagined possible. Not safe from all difficulty. This is still a broken world where hard things happen, but safe in the deepest way, the way that matters most. Safe in my love, safe in the promise that nothing can separate you from the love I have for you. This safety isn't the absence of danger. It's the presence of someone stronger than any danger, someone who has already faced the worst that life and death can offer and emerged victorious. Someone who promises to be with you through whatever comes, to turn even the most difficult experiences into something that serves your ultimate good. You are loved. The silence sings with quiet joy. Loved beyond measure, beyond understanding, beyond anything you could ever do to earn or forfeit. Loved in your success and in your failure. Loved in your strength and in your weakness. Loved in your joy and in your sorrow. Loved completely, permanently, passionately, with a love that will never grow tired of you, or disappointed in you, or bored with you. This love begins to fill every empty space inside you, every corner where loneliness has lived, every room where fear has made its home. It's like light flooding into a house that's been dark for too long, revealing beauty that was always there but couldn't be seen until now. You realize you've been looking for this love in so many places, in relationships, in achievements, in approval from others, but it was here all along, waiting for you to be still enough to receive it. The scripture comes back to you now, not as religious words you've heard before, but as living truth that pulses with life. The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you, in his love. He will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing. Can you hear it? The singing. Not audible to your ears, but somehow more real than any sound you've ever heard. It's the song of pure delight, the melody of perfect love, the harmony of heaven itself, celebrating the simple fact that you exist, that you're here, that you're his. You don't have to do anything to make him sing over you. Your very existence is cause for celebration in heaven. As this truth soaks into your spirit like rain into dry ground, you feel something in your chest expanding, opening, blooming, like a flower that's been waiting for the right season to unfold. It's joy, but not the forced kind you sometimes try to manufacture when you think you should be grateful. It's organic joy, the natural response of a heart that's finally understanding how deeply it's loved. This joy doesn't depend on your circumstances. It doesn't require everything in your life to be perfect or even good. It rises from a deeper place, from the bedrock reality that you belong to love itself, that you're held by hands that will never let you go, that your story is being written by someone who loves you more than you love yourself, and wants your happiness more than you want it yourself. The stillness deepens now, becomes so complete that it seems like the whole universe has paused to witness this moment of pure grace. Your breath comes slow and easy. Your heartbeat settles into a rhythm that seems to match the rhythm of eternity itself. Your body releases the last bits of tension it's been holding, melting into the surfaces that support you, like snow melting in spring sunshine. This is what peace feels like. Not the absence of conflict, but the presence of someone who is bigger than any conflict. Not the solution to all your problems, but the assurance that no problem is bigger than the one who holds you. Not the end of all difficulty, but the promise that no difficulty will have the final word in your story. Rest here now, in this sacred stillness. Let it fill every space inside you where noise and worry and striving have lived. Let it become the background music of your soul, the default setting of your heart. This is your inheritance as a child of God, not just heaven someday, but peace right now. Not just eternal life later, but abundant life today. Not just love when you get to glory, but love that surrounds you like air in this very moment. You are held. You are safe. You are loved. You can rest now. And now, as your body settles deeper into rest and your breathing finds its most natural, peaceful rhythm, something beautiful begins to happen. The boundary between waking and sleeping starts to soften, like watercolors bleeding gently into one another on wet paper. You're entering that sacred space where consciousness and dreams meet, where the physical world and the spiritual realm touch, where Jesus can hold you in ways that transcend what's possible in ordinary waking life. This is the most tender hour, when your defenses are finally down, when all the walls you've built to protect yourself during the day crumble naturally in the safety of His presence. Your mind, which has been working so hard all day to manage and control and figure things out, finally allows itself to rest. Your heart, which has been guarded and careful and sometimes suspicious, opens like a flower in the warmth of perfect love. You can feel Him there, can't you? Not as an idea or a hope, but as a presence so real, so immediate, so enveloping that it's like being held by love itself. His arms aren't physical arms. There's something better, something more substantial than flesh and bone. They're made of peace and safety, and the kind of security that goes deeper than anything earthly arms could provide. Sleep, my beloved. His voice comes not to your ears, but directly to your spirit, bypassing all the noise and filters of conscious thought to speak straight to the core of who you are. Sleep knowing that I am here. Sleep knowing that I will watch over everything you're worried about. Sleep knowing that when you wake, I will still be here, and nothing will have touched you that didn't first pass through my hands. Your body knows this is true, even if your mind sometimes doubts. Every cell in your body recognizes this safety, this perfect protection, this love that's stronger than death itself. Your muscles release their final holdings of tension. Your jaw unclenches. Your shoulders drop. Your hands fall open, no longer grasping for control or comfort, because both are being provided in abundance. As you drift towards sleep, you become aware of something miraculous. You're not falling into unconsciousness alone. You're being lowered gently into rest by hands that know exactly how much you need, exactly what kind of sleep will restore you most completely. This isn't the fitful, anxious sleep of exhaustion. This isn't the restless tossing and turning of a mind that can't quiet itself. This is healing sleep, restorative sleep, the kind of sleep that repairs not just your body, but your soul. Jesus is holding you as you sleep, the way a parent holds a child who has been hurt or frightened, with infinite tenderness and fierce protectiveness. Every breath you take is monitored by love. Every dream that comes to you is filtered through hands that want only beauty and peace and healing for your spirit. Every hour of rest is supervised by eyes that never sleep, never grow weary, never look away from you, even for a moment. You can picture it now. As your physical body lies still and quiet on your bed, your spirit is being held in arms that are stronger than any earthly embrace. Jesus sits beside you through the night like the most faithful guardian, like a shepherd watching over the sheep He loves most in all the world. His presence is your covering, better than any blanket, warmer than any fire, more secure than any earthly shelter. The worries that followed you to bed begin to dissolve in His presence like salt in warm water. The mental loops that usually keep you awake, the rehashing of today's problems, the rehearsing of tomorrow's challenges, the what-ifs and should, haves and if-onlys. All of it fades into irrelevance in the face of perfect love. Why worry when worry himself is handling everything? Why plan when the perfect planner has already worked out every detail for your good? As you sink deeper into sleep, you become aware that your dreams themselves are being curated by love. No nightmares can touch you here. No anxious scenarios can play out in your subconscious mind. Instead, your spirit is free to wander in places of beauty and peace, to experience the kind of joy and wonder that's harder to access when you're awake and your rational mind is editing everything. Maybe you dream of walking with him through places of impossible beauty gardens, where every flower sings with color, mountains where the air itself seems to sparkle with light, oceans so clear you can see forever into depths that hold no danger, only mystery and invitation. Maybe you dream of conversations where every word he speaks brings healing to old wounds, clarity to confusion, hope to despair. Or maybe your dreams are simpler but no less profound, dreams of being a child again, held and rocked and sung to sleep by someone who loves you perfectly. Dreams of all your fears turning out to be paper tigers with no real power to harm you. Dreams of everyone you've ever worried about being safe and well and held by the same love that holds you. Throughout the night, his presence never wavers. When your body needs to shift position, he guides you gently. When your breathing needs to adjust, he regulates it. When your heart rate needs to slow even further, he calms it with his peace. You are not just sleeping. You are being kept, being guarded, being loved through every moment of the night. The darkness that sometimes feels threatening becomes a friend in his presence. It's not the darkness of fear or unknowing, but the darkness of the womb, of the cocoon, of the sacred space where transformation happens safely hidden from prying eyes. In this darkness, things are being healed that can't be healed in the harsh light of day. Wounds are being tended that are too tender for consciousness. Growth is happening that requires the quiet and safety that only sleep can provide. Hour by hour through the night, his love does its work. The stress hormones that flooded your system during the day are being cleansed from your body. The neural pathways that were overworn from worry and overthinking are being restored. The emotional reserves that were depleted from caring for others and trying to manage life's demands are being refilled from an inexhaustible source. But more than physical restoration is happening. Your spirit is being fed with the bread of heaven, watered with the river of God's delight, warmed by the fire of his love. The parts of you that have been starving for unconditional acceptance are being nourished. The places in your heart that have been parched with loneliness are being irrigated with the certainty of his constant companionship. Deep in sleep, you finally understand what Jesus meant when he said his yoke is easy and his burden is light. You've been carrying burdens that were never yours to carry, wearing a yoke that was too heavy for human shoulders. But now, in the vulnerability of sleep, he trades with you, taking your heavy yoke and giving you his light one, taking your impossible burden and giving you his easy one. This is how I want to love you. His presence whispers to your sleeping spirit. Not just in the moments when you're trying to be good or when you're crying out for help, but in these quiet, vulnerable hours when you're completely defenseless and trusting. This is when my love can do its deepest work, when your guard is down and your heart is open and you're not trying to manage or control anything. As the night deepens, you become aware of something beautiful. You're not the only one being held. Everyone you love, everyone you've been worried about, everyone whose safety and happiness you've been trying to secure through your own effort, they're all being held too. The same arms that hold you, hold them. The same love that watches over you, watches over them. The same peace that covers you, covers them. This realization brings such relief, it's almost physical. like setting down a weight you didn't realize you were carrying. You don't have to be everyone's savior. You don't have to figure out how to protect and provide for everyone you care about. There's someone infinitely more capable handling all of that. Someone who loves them even more than you do. Someone who's watching over them with the same tender vigilance. He's showing you right now. The night air seems to pulse with lullabies you can't quite hear, but somehow know by heart. Creation itself is singing over you. The stars in their courses, the wind in the trees, the very atoms that make up your body vibrating with the frequency of divine love. You are held not just by Jesus, but by the entire universe. He spoke into existence, all of it conspiring for your rest, your peace, your healing. Sleep comes in waves now, each one carrying you deeper into rest, deeper into trust, deeper into the kind of surrender that only happens when you finally, completely believe you are safe. Your conscious mind lets go of its last attempts to stay in control, to monitor and manage and worry. You sink into sleep the way you sink into a warm bath, every part of you relaxing into the perfect temperature of love. And Jesus holds you through it all. When you stir slightly, He soothes you back to stillness. When a shadow of anxiety tries to creep into your dreams, He banishes it with His light. When your body needs deeper rest, He draws you down into the healing depths of sleep. When your spirit needs to soar, He lifts you up into dreams of wonder and joy. This is love in its purest form. Love that asks nothing, expects nothing, demands nothing, but gives everything. Love that doesn't wait for you to earn it, or deserve it, or understand it. Love that simply covers and keeps and holds and heals, because that's what love does when it's perfect and you're beloved. Sleep now, knowing you are held. Sleep now, knowing you are safe. Sleep now, knowing that love itself is watching over your dreams, guarding your rest, preparing you for whatever tomorrow may bring. You are not alone. You will never be alone. You are held by arms that will never let you go. And as the deepest hours of night embrace you, as your body finds its most restorative rest and your spirit soaks in the healing balm of perfect love, something beautiful begins to stir in the darkness. It's not yet dawn, but dawn is coming. It's not yet tomorrow, but tomorrow is being prepared by the same hands that are holding you now. And in this sacred space between deep night and coming morning, Jesus wants you to know something that will change how you meet whatever lies ahead. You're not alone, not just here in this moment of peace and rest, not just in this cocoon of divine love where everything feels safe and manageable. You're not alone tomorrow either. In the bright light of a new day, when the challenges come flooding back and the responsibilities reassert themselves, and life demands that you get up and face whatever is waiting for you, you won't be alone then either. The love that's holding you now doesn't evaporate with the sunrise. The presence that's been watching over your sleep doesn't disappear when your alarm clock sounds. The peace that's been healing your heart through the night doesn't abandon you when you open your eyes to a new day. All of it goes with you. All of it stays with you. All of it becomes the invisible strength that carries you through whatever comes next, tomorrow. His voice comes soft as whispered silk in your spirit. Tomorrow, you'll wake up different than you went to sleep. Not because your circumstances will have changed, though they might, but because you'll have been loved through the night. You'll have been held and healed and filled up with exactly what you need for the day ahead. You'll wake up not empty and drained like you've been, but full of me, full of peace, full of the certainty that you're not facing anything alone. Even in the depth of sleep, even in the vulnerability of complete rest, there's something gathering in your spirit. Strength, hope, a quiet confidence that has nothing to do with your own abilities and everything to do with whose you are. It's like water seeping into dry ground, like light creeping over the horizon, like life returning to places that felt barren and dead. The Jesus who's holding you now is the same Jesus who will walk with you into your workplace tomorrow, who will sit with you in that difficult conversation you've been dreading, who will stand beside you when you face the challenges that made you so anxious tonight. He's not a God who loves you only in the quiet moments and then abandons you to handle real life on your own. He's the God who specializes in being present in the ordinary, difficult, demanding moments that make up most of human existence. You won't be able to see him with your physical eyes when you're rushing through your morning routine or dealing with traffic or responding to emails that stress you out, but he'll be there just as surely as he's here now. His presence isn't dependent on your ability to sense it, any more than the sun stops shining when clouds block your view of it. His love doesn't diminish when life gets loud and complicated and pulls your attention in a dozen different directions. Remember, his love whispers into the depths of your sleep. Remember how this feels. Remember this safety, this peace, this certainty that you're cherished beyond measure. When tomorrow's challenges try to convince you that you're alone or forgotten or not strong enough, remember this moment. Remember that nothing can separate you from the love that's holding you right now. The night around you seems to pulse with promises, with assurances being written on your heart in script too beautiful for human language. Tomorrow's meetings will be attended by the Prince of Peace. Tomorrow's deadlines will be met with the help of the one who exists outside of time. Tomorrow's relationships will be navigated with the wisdom of the one who knows every human heart better than it knows itself. That person who's been difficult to love. Jesus will help you see them through his eyes, help you respond to them with his patience. That situation that's been causing you so much stress, Jesus will either change it or change you in it, but either way, you won't have to carry the weight of it alone. That decision you've been agonizing over, Jesus will guide your steps, and even if you make a mistake, he'll work it into something good, because that's what love does. It redeems everything, even our errors. As sleep holds you in its gentle embrace, you begin to understand something profound about how love works. The comfort you're receiving now isn't just for now. It's preparation. It's fortification. It's the deep soul feeding that gives you what you need to love others tomorrow. You're not just being filled up for your own sake. You're being filled up so you can pour out, so you can be to others what Jesus is being to you right now. Tomorrow, when you see someone else who's tired or stressed or struggling, you'll have something to offer them because you've been here, because you've been held, because you know what it feels like to be loved in your weariness and worry. The kindness that flows from you will be sourced in this moment. The patience you show will be drawn from the patience Jesus is showing you. The comfort you offer will be an overflow of the comfort you're receiving. This is how healing spreads. This is how love multiplies. Not through programs or systems or strategies, but through one person being so filled with divine love that it naturally spills over onto everyone around them. You're being prepared tonight, not just to survive tomorrow, but to be an agent of grace in tomorrow, a carrier of peace, a representative of the same love that's holding you now. The dreams that dance through your sleep are more than mental processing or random neural firing. They're visions of possibility, glimpses of who you're becoming, previews of the kind of difference your love-filled life can make in a world that's hungry for exactly what you've been receiving tonight. In your dreams, you might see yourself speaking words of encouragement that change someone's entire day, offering help that meets a need you didn't even know existed, or simply radiating a peace that makes others wonder what's different about you. This is why I hold you. Jesus seems to say as the night deepens and your rest becomes even more profound. Not just to comfort you, though I love comforting you. Not just to heal you, though I love healing you. But to prepare you to be my hands and feet and heart in a world that desperately needs to know they're not alone either. The loneliness that brought you here tonight, the weariness that made you crave His presence, the spiritual exhaustion that made you reach out for divine love. All of it is being transformed as you sleep. What was emptiness is becoming fullness. What was isolation is becoming connection. Not just with Jesus, but with everyone else who needs what you now have to give. What was depletion is becoming overflow. You're beginning to understand that your struggles haven't been wasted, that your pain hasn't been pointless. Every night you've cried yourself to sleep has prepared you to comfort others who cry. Every moment you've felt forgotten has equipped you to notice people who feel invisible. Every time you've questioned whether you matter has given you the heart to affirm others' value. Your wounds are becoming sources of healing for others. This doesn't mean your pain was good. Jesus grieves with you over every hurt you've endured. But it means He's so skilled at redemption that He can take even the worst things and weave them into something beautiful. Your empathy for others' struggles comes from your own struggles. Your ability to offer hope in dark places comes from the hope you found in your own darkness. As the night moves toward its deepest point, you sense something shifting in the spiritual atmosphere around you. Angels are gathering, not dramatically or visibly, but you can feel their presence like a subtle change in the air. They're the messengers and servants of the One who's holding you, and they're being given assignments for tomorrow. Some will go before you to prepare the way. Some will walk beside you to offer protection. Some will minister to the people you'll encounter, preparing their hearts to receive the love you'll carry. This is the reality of your life that you can't see with physical eyes. You're surrounded by heaven's resources, backed by heaven's authority, covered by heaven's protection. When you walk into tomorrow, you're not walking in alone. You're part of an operation of love so vast and coordinated that it takes your breath away when you catch even a glimpse of it. The fears you've been carrying about tomorrow begin to look different from this perspective. The challenges that seemed overwhelming shrink to manageable size when you remember who's handling them with you. The people who intimidate you lose their power to frighten when you realize you'll be relating to them with Jesus' wisdom and love. The situations that felt impossible become opportunities for divine intervention. Nothing is too hard for me. His presence reminds you, and you feel the truth of it settling into your bones. Nothing you'll face tomorrow is beyond my ability to handle. Nothing that concerns you is too small for my attention. Nothing that threatens you is stronger than my protection. You're going into tomorrow equipped with everything you need because you're going with me. The sun isn't visible yet, but somewhere in the distance, the first faint hints of dawn are beginning to touch the sky, not with harsh light that jolts you awake, but with the gentlest possible transition from night to day, from rest to activity, from receiving love to sharing love. Your body is being prepared for waking, even as your spirit is being prepared for living. As you rest in these final hours of night, wrapped in love more secure than any earthly embrace, covered by peace more complete than any human understanding, you can feel gratitude beginning to bloom in your chest. Gratitude for this respite, for this healing, for this reminder of who you are and whose you are. Gratitude for the gift of being able to start fresh tomorrow, carrying with you everything you've received in this sacred time. But mostly, gratitude for the promise that rings clearer than a bell in your spirit. You're not alone. You're not alone tomorrow. You're not alone next week when new challenges arise. You're not alone next month when life takes unexpected turns. You're not alone next year as you continue to grow and change and face whatever comes. You belong to love itself, and love is not a sometimes thing or a fair-weather friend. Love is faithful through every season, present in every circumstance, constant through every change. The love that's holding you now has held you through every difficult day of your past. and will hold you through every uncertain day of your future. Tomorrow is not a return to emptiness and isolation and trying to manage life on your own. Tomorrow is a continuation of this love story, this divine romance, this sacred relationship that began before you were born and will continue beyond your last breath. Tomorrow is another day to experience being beloved, another opportunity to live from the overflow of divine love rather than the deficit of human effort. Sleep now, beloved. Sleep deeply and peacefully, knowing that when you wake into love. When you rise held. When you go forth accompanied by the one who promises never to leave you or forsake you, never to grow tired of you or disappointed in you, never to love you less than completely and perfectly and eternally. You are not alone. You will never be alone. And that changes everything. Rest now. Tomorrow is taken care of. You are taken care of. All is well.